there are some claims which are used to be presented in the arbitral proceedings, but when the final award comes, they are not being recorded in the arbitral award. For that particular purpose, if there is no something not otherwise agreed by the parties, a party will first give notice to the other party and it may request to the arbitral tribunal to make the additional arbitral award on with respect to those claims which have been presented in the arbitral proceedings, but they have not been made part of the arbitral award. This request has to be made within 30 days from the receipt of the arbitral award. Arbitral tribunal shall make the additional arbitral award within 60 days from the receipt of such request. If the arbitral tribunal considers the request made to be justified, it will go ahead for addition of the arbitral award, and it will be enforceable from the same date the original award is being given. For exam purpose, this particular 30 days for the request and this 60 days from the receipt of such request is to be taken into account. Challenging arbitral award, section 34. Recourse against the arbitral award means if the arbitral award is given and any of the party want to challenge that particular award, it has to go to the court. From the district court, it will challenge the award in the district court. From the date on which the party making that application had received the arbitral award, it has a period of 3 months to challenge that particular award. If a request has been made for the correction of award or for the additional award, then within 3 months from the date on which that request has been disposed of by the arbitral tribunal, application for setting aside the award can be made to the court, but a prior notice has to be served to the other party, and this period of 3 months can be condoned for the delay by maximum 30 days by the court on just and sufficient ground. This 3-month time period is very important for the exam to be remembered. And the court shall dispose of the application. Shall means it is mandatory for the court to dispose of the application within a period of 1 year from the date on which the notice is served upon the other party. This is section 34, which is also known as challenging the arbitral award. Now, on which ground the arbitral award may be set aside by the court? First point is when the party making the application is establishing on the basis of the arbitral tribunal, means this is apparent from the records of the arbitral tribunal that a party was under some incapacity. Arbitration agreement is not valid because it cannot be decided under the law to which the parties are subjected to. For example, if it is a PMLA agreement, then it cannot be subject to an arbitration agreement. The party making the application was not given proper notice of the appointment of the arbitrator or of the arbitral proceeding, or was otherwise unable to present his case. A reasonable opportunity of being heard shall always be given to the other party, and the party shall be given an opportunity to participate. But if one of the party was not given the notice of the appointment of the arbitrator or of the arbitral proceedings, or he couldn't attend the proceedings because of some genuine reason, then this award could be challenged. If the arbitral award deals with a dispute which is not within the purview of the points which are submitted to the arbitration, which were not the point of dispute submitted to the arbitration, or if it is containing the decision with respect to the matters going beyond the scope of the submission of arbitration, then for those which are going beyond or which are not within the authority of the arbitral tribunal, they can be set aside by the court. If the decision on the matters submitted to arbitration can be separated from those not so submitted, then only that part of the arbitral award which contains decisions of matters not so submitted to the arbitration may be set aside. There was an agreement. We know that in arbitration, everything is governed by the agreement of the parties, provided they are not in conflict with Part 1 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996, from which the parties cannot deviate. And if there was an agreement, but the composition of the arbitral tribunal or the arbitral procedure was not in accordance with the agreement of the parties, in that case, it can be set aside by the court. Now, what are the disputes? There are some disputes which can be settled by the arbitration, and there are some disputes which cannot be settled by the arbitration. All civil or quasi-civil nature they are subject, they can be settled by the arbitration. Almost all, I won't say all, it's almost all, maybe commercial, civil, labor, or the family disputes, or they may be related to your joint venture projects, your construction projects, partnership differences, professional liabilities or insurance claims, or the areas of construction, health care, telecommunication, entertainment, and technology based industries. But there are some disputes which cannot be the subject matter of arbitration. Criminal offenses can never be the subject matter of arbitration. So if a question comes, can an offense under PMLA be subject to arbitration agreement? No, it cannot be. Civil matters, all civil matters cannot be the subject matter of arbitration. Matrimonial matters, industrial disputes, and revenue matters like of income tax, GST, and other matters, or some government dues, testamentary matters under Succession Act, motor vehicle accident conversation, or the matters which are the part of Indian Trust Act or the Competition Acts, they cannot be subject of any arbitration. Means if I give you the example of the Competition Act, if there is an agreement between the two parties to create monopoly, and if there is a dispute, that will be subject to arbitration. This is outrightly rejected from the angle of the Competition Act, because Competition Act doesn't allow to create monopoly to abuse a dominant position. So if there is some agreement regarding that, it cannot be decided by the arbitration. Determination of the guardianship or the wards. Now, what are the grounds in that? There is a second point, that an arbitral award may be set aside by the court only if the court finds that subject matter of the dispute is not capable of settlement by arbitration under the law for the time being in force. So if the disputes are regarding these matters, it will be set aside by the court if they are part of the arbitration. The arbitral award is in conflict with the public policy of India. What is said to be in conflict with the public policy of India? It is enumerated in terms of 3 subparts: that making of the award was induced or effected by fraud or corruption, or it was in violation of section 75 or section 81. Section 75 or section 81 deals with the conciliation, which says that conciliation proceedings are confidential and they cannot be relied upon, and they shall not be relied upon as an evidence in the arbitral proceedings. So if they are being relied upon, it is said to be in conflict with the public policy of India. If it is in contravention with the fundamental policy of Indian law, we all know with every statute that is being enacted, there is a particular objective which is stated in preamble, as well as statement of objects and reasons for which that particular law is being enacted. So award shall not be in conflict with the object of a particular statute in force in India. It shall not be in conflict with the most basic notions of morality or justice. An arbitral award arising out of arbitration may also be set aside by the court if the court finds that award is vitiated by patent illegality appearing on the face of the award. Patent illegality means on the face of the award, it is appearing that the award is violating a particular statute. That is known as patent illegality. That it is in contravention with the fundamental policy of Indian law. If it is in contravention with the fundamental policy of any particular statute being in force in India, then we will call that this is vitiated by the patent illegality. But we shall not say that it is only on the ground of erroneous application of the law, or it is including the reappreciation of evidence. No, an award will not be set aside on the ground of erroneous application of law or the reappreciation of evidence. On which ground it will be set aside? That application of law is so erroneous that it is touching the object of the, it is defeating the object of the statute in force. So if that is the case, only then on the ground of patent illegality, the arbitral award would be set aside, otherwise not. The ground of patent illegality is not applicable to the international commercial arbitration. Please mark it, it is an exception that the ground of patent illegality is not applicable to international commercial arbitration. Enforcement of arbitral award. We know that the arbitral award, arbitration proceedings are not governed by the Code of Civil Procedures, but when the award has been given, for the purpose of its enforcement, the provisions of the Code of CPC are applicable as if it were a decree of the court. And these provisions will apply after 3 months. After 3 months of the time for making the application to set aside the arbitral award, means the time of challenging the award has gone and there is no challenging of the award, or the challenge has been set aside. Only after that award will be enforced, and the enforceability will be governed by the Code of Civil Procedure of 1908. There is a section 16 which says that arbitral tribunal is competent enough to make the rules for its own jurisdiction. Means what should be its authority, which subject matter it can decide upon, including the ruling if there is any objection with respect to the existence or validity of the arbitration agreement, which rule it is going to follow. The arbitration clause which forms a part of the contract shall be treated as an agreement independent of the other terms of the contract, because there may be a question that there is a contract of which arbitration agreement is a part in the form of clause, and the arbitral tribunal finds that the whole contract is null and void. Will arbitration agreement also be treated as null and void? No, by the law itself will not be treated ipso jure. It will not be treated as invalid because the arbitration clause is treated as an independent agreement from the other terms of the contract. There may be a plea to the arbitral tribunal that a party may say that you don't have a jurisdiction. And if this plea is to be raised, this should be raised at the time of submission of the statement of defense to the arbitral tribunal. There may be a plea that the arbitral tribunal is exceeding the scope of its authority. The party shall raise plea to the arbitral tribunal on the moment the arbitral tribunal is exceeding the scope of its authority. The arbitral tribunal may also entertain these kind of pleas even if there is some delay on the justified ground. The arbitral tribunal will decide on the plea, and if it is rejecting the plea, it will continue with the arbitral proceedings and make an arbitral award. And after rejection by the arbitral tribunal and the arbitral award is being given, then the party which is aggrieved may make an application for setting aside such an arbitral award in accordance with section 34. But if the arbitral tribunal accept these pleas, if the arbitral tribunal accept these pleas and give an order regarding that, that order can be challenged under this appealable orders to the court, that the tribunal has wrongly accepted the plea, that it is crossing its jurisdiction or it doesn't have the jurisdiction. That plea, acceptance of that plea can be challenged in the under the appealable orders. Or if an tribunal grant or refuse to grant the interim measures under section 17, that order can also be appealed. All orders are not appealable, only these orders are appealable. Now, which orders of the court are there against which the appeal is allowed? If the court refuses to refer the parties to arbitration under section 8, the party in the defense is raising the argument of existence of the arbitration agreement and statement of defense, and the court is refusing that. Granting or refusing to grant any measure under section 9, or if it is setting aside or refusing to set aside an arbitral award under section 34, then an appeal can be made to the High Court in this case. No second appeal shall lie from an order passed in appeal under this section, but nothing in this section shall affect or take away our right to appeal to the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court has an extraordinary jurisdiction under section 42 to entertain the appeal. So that right cannot be taken away if they are saying that no second appeal shall lie. Regarding the deposits, arbitral tribunal may fix the amount of deposits or supplementary deposits as an advance for the cost which it expects will be incurred in respect of the claim submitted to it. We know when the arbitration proceedings will be conducted, there will be there will be cost incurred. So arbitral tribunal may fix the amount as an advance for the cost to be deposited. Apart from the claim, if there is a counter claim, then it may fix the separate amount of deposit for the claim and deciding the counter claim also. Now the MCQ is, this deposit shall be paid by whom and in which proportion? This deposit shall be payable in equal shares by the parties. And if one party fails to pay the share of deposit, other party may pay the share. And if both the parties fail to pay the share of deposit, the arbitral tribunal may suspend or terminate the arbitral proceedings in respect of such claim or counter claim as the case may be. Right? Again, like the conciliation we read, the arbitrator, arbitral institutions, and the parties to the arbitration agreement shall maintain the confidentiality of arbitral proceedings, and the information shall be disclosed only for the purpose of implementation and enforcement of award. What does it signify? That whatever is happening during the arbitral proceedings, it shall not be relied upon, it shall not be disclosed in respect of any particular suit or anything going on in the court, because these are all confidential matters to be disclosed only for implementation and enforcement of award. Will arbitration agreement be discharged by the death of the parties? No, it will not be discharged by the death of the parties, but it shall in such event be enforceable by or against the legal representative of the deceased, even if the arbitrator is appointed by the party who has died. The mandate of such arbitrator shall not be terminated. Nothing in this section shall affect the operation of law by virtue of which right of action is extinguished by the death of a person. Say it is an agreement of a personal skill. We all know that in case the personal skills are to be used, then the right of action is extinguished whenever a person dies. Provision in case of insolvency, very important part introduced with the IBC code in this particular Arbitration and Conciliation Act. It says that a party has entered into a contract which has a provision to refer the dispute to the arbitration. Now the party has become insolvent. If the receiver adopts the contract, only then that arbitration agreement will be enforceable. Otherwise, it will not be enforceable with respect to such dispute. Next is that there is such an agreement in existence which is entered by a party having an arbitration agreement, and now the party is being declared as insolvent. That agreement relates to a dispute, relates to a matter which is to be decided for the purpose of insolvency proceedings. Now it's the receiver who has to apply it to the judicial authority, that is NCLT here, for an order directing that the matter in question shall be submitted to the arbitration. See the difference between the two. In the first case, if the receiver adopts the contract, if it has nothing to do with the insolvency proceedings, then it's upon the receiver's choice whether adopts or not. But if it has some matters which is to be decided for the purpose of insolvency proceedings, then the party or the receiver has to apply it to the judicial authority. And if the NCLT directs, then that matter will be decided by the arbitration. Otherwise, it will not be decided by the arbitration.